Good morning. It's a bright and beautiful morning here in eastern North Carolina, and I'm at my top secret garden facility. It's no top secret garden, I'm just being silly. But behind me is some of the land that I now own as part of my new home, and plan on growing a garden on it. I'll do an upcoming garden tour, as it were, or tour the land and show you more of what's going on. But one of the things that experts always say is that you should test your garden soil before doing any sort of planting. So I went out and I got myself a little $6 rapid test soil tester kit, and I'm going to give it a whirl. I've already dug a test hole on the property. The soil is beautiful. It looks wonderful. I think it's a little on the clayey side. There's another test I can run, which I hopefully will do soon, probably in the next few weeks, where you basically put some soil into a clear glass jar, you fill it with water, you spin it around, you let everything settle, and then that will the different content, the clay, the sand, etc., will settle in different layers, as it were. So I'll run that test or that experiment at a later date. But for today, we're doing a rapid test. Let's see what happens. So first, I gotta read the instructions, which are pretty simple. Now, this test includes a pH, and then you have plant food charts. So it tests for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. So first, I think we're going to do the pH, and let's just see what that turns out to be. But first, I need a little shovel. So let's make that happen. And I have a little shovel. There we go. So according to the instructions here, which are very complicated, you need to take a green capsule out of a green cap tube, and then you got to put some dirt into the tube up to the first line, and then add the contents of the capsule, and then add a little distilled water to the fourth line, shake, let sit for a minute, compare the color. So not very terribly complicated. Let's do a little test there. We have our sample of soil. And now we're going to pop open this capsule. I have no idea how this is going to work, so we're just going to very carefully and gently going to try to pry this bad boy apart. All right, we're dumping the contents in. Carefully, slowly. Very good. All the contents are out. Giant jug of distilled water that I'm going to carefully pour into here, because nothing could go horribly wrong here. Basically, you're going to try to fill it to the top and not overflow it like I just did. Going to give it a good old shake as per the instructions. And it is doing strange fizzy things. It's doing something. So they say let it sit for a minute and it'll do a thing. So we're going to let it sit. What I'm hoping for is a neutral, or a actually neutral pH 7 color here, but right now it's turning into yellow. So again, we're just going to let it sit for a minute. Okay, so we've let it sit for about a minute, and I'm comparing the color in the tube to the color on the chart here. So I don't know how this is going to come out on camera. Basically, we're looking at an acidic soil, so which I wasn't actually expecting. I was expecting maybe something a little more neutral. According to this test kit, it is acidic. Now, depending upon how you look at it and maybe what light you look at it, so if I look at it through the sunlight here, it looks like it's just acidic, and if you look at it maybe back to the card, it looks very acidic. pH of anywhere between 6 and 5. So that's something to maybe keep in mind as I'm going forward with my planting throughout the course of the year. The area I'm standing in is going to be the vegetable garden, and it'll be mostly made up of raised beds, although there will be some in-ground beds for pumpkins and corn. So that, again, being said, is something to keep in mind. The instruction manual, which is included with it, tells you that certain vegetables prefer a slight acidic to a neutral balance. I think most plants prefer neutral, or again, you can't really go wrong with neutral no matter which way you go. And let's see, so what if I want to do Oh, here we go, watermelon. I plan on doing watermelon. I don't know if I'm going to do it in the ground. I might do it in the ground, but that actually prefers it slightly more acidic, so we're good there. It doesn't say anything about corn, although I know in the area the farmers do grow corn. Looks like we have a slightly acidic soil from this test, and that's just in this area. Hypothetically, or possibly if you run it in different areas, you may run across different test results. So it was interesting. Let's do the other tests. While we're waiting on those tests, I just want to go on record and say that I think that from my very, very limited itty-bitty amount of knowledge on soil and all, I think the soil in general is good. This area that I live in used to be once upon a time allegedly a farm. So it would stand to reason that the soil is well and good and healthy. I have seen a lot of worm excrement on the surface, which again is a good indicator of healthy soil. If this was very sandy or poor soil, and I don't think that there would be as much worm trace, as it were, or worm poop, as some people like to call it. But I have seen a lot of sign of worm excrement, which is very, very good. Again, I think that's determination of healthy. That's Mother Nature's way, I think, of telling you that there's healthy soil. So there's plenty of earthworms in the soil. The soil retains a lot of moisture. So, in fact, I can probably squeeze, I don't know if you can see that. It rained a few days ago, so it retains a lot of moisture. It is a tight, muddy ball, which does not easily break apart. I mean, I am applying pressure, it does. So it's a little on the, I think, and again, I'm no expert, I think it's a little on the clay side. So that's okay. You can always loosen the soil or put additives in the soil to help the soil drain better. Or again, it's as you add organic matter, I think that would also help to loosen up the soil a bit. Let's go check out our other samples. This is a product from a company called Luster Leaf, and again, it's $6. It's probably not, the test is not the most accurate, I'm sure. Things are happening now. All right, so if we go with the low potash right now, again, I don't know how easy it is for you to tell that the color is, but I'm going to gauge this as low potash. Again, I don't know if that's necessarily good or bad. Low to very low color. So there's your potash, low to very low potash. This is the phosphorus, I believe. No, yes, this is the phosphorus, blue. So blue is phosphorus. This one's settling very slowly, but as it settles, the color is developing. It's tough to tell, but I'm going to go with low phosphorus as well. Yeah, I'm going to go with low on that one. So, and last but not least, this one settled pretty quickly. This is the nitrogen test. So this one should be a nice purple, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's pretty translucent. So I'm going to say there's virtually no nitrogen in the first top level of soil, which I find kind of hard to believe. What do we know about the soil? We know that apparently we have low on plant food of the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash, and we're slightly acidic. This is not the end of the world. And as I plan on planting out or growing whatever I'm going to be growing in the ground, I will be adding amendments to it. I will be adding compost, mostly compost. I'm not going to get crazy with trying to put in fertilizers. I don't necessarily like fertilizers. I'd rather improve the soil than just add amendments to the soil. And those amendments may wash away and or artificially do something to the soil, which I don't necessarily want. But if I add something like compost or leaf mold over time, that will again improve the soil and it'll just get better over time. About all I have to say today about this. Next up will be the garden tour, so if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please follow me on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter and Pinterest, so you can go follow there's links for that in the YouTube description. So stay tuned for the upcoming garden tour, or property tour I should say. So that's about it. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.